Well, it appears Senator Elizabeth Warren and Donald Trump might actually agree on something, doing away with the Electoral College. You'll recall that in 2012, then citizen Trump tweeted this after President Obama's re-election win. I'm quoting here, "The Electoral College is a disaster for democracy." That tweet's considered to be ironic because Mr. Trump went on to win the Electoral College in 2016. But you'll remember he lost the popular vote. The president appeared to change his tune after his tweet, tweeting, "Campaigning to win the Electoral College is much more difficult and sophisticated than the popular vote. Hillary focused on the wrong states." Well, now Senator Warren, one of the Democrats running in 2020, is actually supporting the idea of changing the way America elects its president. Here's what she said at a town hall last night.
Presidential candidates don't come to places like Mississippi. Yeah, they also don't come to places like California and Massachusetts, right? Because we're not the battleground states. We can have national voting, and that means get rid of the Electoral College and everybody.
For more on this, I'm joined by Bob Cusack. He's editor-in-chief of The Hill. So, Bob, what exactly is Warren's argument in pushing for this? And do you really see this as happening at some point?
I don't see it happening. I mean, you have some legal issues. You definitely have some constitutional issues here where you'd likely have to change the Constitution. That is very difficult to do. But this is a growing movement on the left. And the argument is, well, listen, you know, there are only so many battleground states, and these other states, whether they're Mississippi, meaning conservative, or Massachusetts, more liberal, they're not getting the attention. They're not getting the presidential ads because we know which way they're going to go. So that's been an argument for a long time. And certainly we saw some major figures on the Democratic side call for this before. This was after the 2000 contested presidential election. Democrats, including Hillary Clinton, said, let's get rid of the Electoral College. But it really hasn't gotten the momentum that I think it's picking up now. And I think a lot of the candidates, including Beto O'Rourke, has said, yeah, we should consider this.
So the president has long said the Democrats are sore losers. Do you think that this move by Warren enables him to criticize the party for trying to kind of change the rules when it doesn't really work in their favor?
Yeah, and that's where I think it's going to be interesting where congressional Democratic leaders fall on this because by all indications, and she said it recently, Nancy Pelosi is not looking to impeach the president, that they want to defeat President Trump, and they don't want to make him a sympathetic figure. They don't want to change the rules. So I think it's going to be interesting where other Democrats who are not running for president, who don't have to appease the base as much, where they fall on this, because I think that is a trap for Democrats.
You know, Senator Warren has been pushing policy ideas, but she's still struggling to get the attention that someone like Beto O'Rourke is getting at this point. And, you know, it's interesting. The Washington Post put it this way. Beto O'Rourke's early campaign, upbeat sentiments, absent many specifics. Do you think voters see it that way? Can you tell at this point?
I think Beto O'Rourke has had an okay launch, but I think there have been some negatives, is that he's been a bit wishy-washy as far as where he stands on some issues. He raised a ton of money, the most money in 24 hours, according to his campaign, of any of the candidates, including Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren also has raised a ton of money, both in her Senate campaign and her presidential campaign. She certainly has the substance on policy ideas, and I think that unless Beto O'Rourke fleshes out his policies and where he stands, I think she could go after him in the debate starting in June. I think it's a real weakness of O'Rourke's right now, and he's got to flesh out his policies very soon.
Meanwhile, President Trump today was asked why he criticized the late Senator John McCain on Twitter this weekend. Here's what the president had to say.
I'm very unhappy that he didn't repeal and replace Obamacare. As you know, he campaigned on repealing and replacing Obamacare for years. And then he got to a vote and he said thumbs down, and our country would have saved $1 trillion and we would have had great health care. So he campaigned. He told us hours before that he was going to repeal and replace. And then for some reason, I think I understand the reason, he ended up going thumbs up. And frankly, had we even known that, I think we would have gotten a vote because we could have gotten somebody else. So I think that's disgraceful. Plus, there are other things. I was never a fan of John McCain, and I never will be. Thank you.
Okay, Bob, I mean, if we're being honest, that was a critical moment in his presidency, and I remember it playing down live right here on CBSN, and all of us being so surprised. But the man is dead at this point. Why hold this grudge and be so public about it?
Yeah, I think there are real risks here, not with Trump's base. Trump's base doesn't like John McCain. John McCain was, I think, fortunate to win the nomination in 2008 because he was attacked by the right, but was able to persevere. There is no doubt about it. I mean, John McCain and President Trump have never liked each other. I don't see the benefits of going after the president, going after McCain 7 months after he passed away. It's certainly not going to help him in a general election. But again, his base doesn't like McCain, and he is still personally upset at him for killing the health care effort, which still had a long way to go. Even if John McCain had supported that bill, it had to be merged with the House bill. No telling where it would have gone from there, but certainly McCain was the one who ended up destroying that bill.
You know, I want to ask you about this family feud that's getting a lot of attention. Kellyanne Conway's husband, George, has been questioning the president's mental fitness online. Today, the president called him a total loser. It's sort of a strange back and forth. I mean, Washington has had a lot of political couples, or a couple of, I think of Carville and Mary Madeline, but I've never seen anything so extreme as this one.
Yeah, no, this is getting a lot of attention today, Rita, as you know. This has got to be, it's been awkward, certainly, because in the Conway household, you have a clear supporter of the president, Kellyanne Conway, her husband, not so much, and he's become famous really going after the president, and the fact that Trump has returned fire directly at him today. This is going to make it, I just think, very, very awkward for Kellyanne Conway in her position. She's going to have to answer more questions on this. But as you know, what Donald Trump, he takes a punch. He counterpunches.
Yeah, he certainly does. Bob Cusack, thank you so much for joining us, Bob.
Thanks, Rena.
You bet.